Thank you, EJ and Kieran, and welcome in Bears fans to another edition of Mike on the Mic here on the Bear Era podcast. I'm your host, Mike Mercado. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. And it is one of our favorite times in the sports calendar as we inch ever so closely to the NFL draft. And all eyes, ears, and thoughts are on the Chicago Bears and what they will do with their first round draft pick. And I am here to talk a little bit not about scouting, not about my favorite target, not who fits the scheme for Ben Johnson or Dennis Allen. EJ and Kieran are going to do an amazing job, have been doing an amazing job, will continue to do an amazing job on breaking everything down for each and every one of you, the Bears fans, on the information you need to know about players that might be wearing the navy and orange or might be opponents in the NFC North. But what I want to talk about are the people in charge. On the last Mike on the Mic, we mentioned that this is the biggest offseason, that this is where the legacy for Ryan Poles is built. But right now, we're going to talk about Ben Johnson, because Ben Johnson was in the news recently in the NFL owners meeting, had some really interesting thoughts that I believe we need to dissect, that we will dissect here on Bear Era, that will be dissected across all of Bears Nation. But I think it's important to take a man at his words. Ben Johnson has not lied to you or me, the Bears fan, the Bears pundit, the Bears expert, the scout. When he's told you something, the Bears have addressed it. Whether it's worked out, whether it's succeeded, failed, it's up to you. It's all a results-based business, I guess. But the one thing that I trust is that when Ben Johnson speaks, you better listen, because the nuggets of truth are right there in front of you. And here are some of the things that were said. And it's time to bring out the handy-dandy legal pad. And this is from Courtney Cronin. Quote, Johnson isn't happy with offensive staff for how they didn't coach wide receivers to get open enough. Emphasize getting back to fundamentals in OTAs on catching the ball to address drop issues. And we mentioned a lot of that throughout the entire season, from DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, Cole Kmet, Colston Loveland, the running backs. Anytime a play was executed, but because of a drop ball, a drive would stall, or they couldn't convert a third down. We are seeing now, after the trade of DJ Moore, with the emergence of some of these young receivers and the draft right ahead of us, Ben Johnson is telling you they want wide receivers that are going to be great at the fundamentals, run the play it's supposed to be ran, and catch the ball. Execute all three levels of the play. Listen to the coach when he says that. Also from Courtney Cronin, Johnson said coaches will be hyper vigilant to any complacency and entitlement after the success of last season, which means he wants players that are going to come into OTAs, training camp, mini camp, rookie camp, ready to ball and play, ready for conditioning, ready for strength training, and ready for game time. Listen to your coach. Who fits that bill? Who on this team fits that mold? Who is no longer on this team that doesn't quite fall into that category? Listen to the head coach. And finally, from Courtney, Ben Johnson on left tackle. There's a lot of uncertainty. He's telling you they may have signed somebody. They might like Braxton, but there is no certainty that that is who the starting left tackle of your Chicago Bears will be at the start of the 2026 season, especially knowing how important the offensive line is to the Ben Johnson offense. As important as the receivers are, as important as the running backs, hell, as important as Caleb Williams is to this entire franchise. The only way that you can run the Ben Johnson offense, the only way that you can continue to be an NFC threat is by keeping your quarterback upright. And a left tackle, a center, a guard, an entire offensive line that's athletic, that's powerful, and that has cohesiveness to it. Listen to your head coach. He's telling you what he's looking for. He's telling you what they're targeting. So now that you have all this information that EJ and Kieran, all those golden nuggets that they're feeding you, and you're hearing what the head coach, the real leader of the organization, saying, I think we know, or we think we can take an educated guess of what the Bears are going to target this NFL draft season. And speaking of NFL draft season, make sure you're staying tuned right here to the Bear Era podcast on Bear Era Prime here on YouTube and, of course, all the social medias as we get ready. We count down to the big day of the NFL draft, and we will have coverage wall to wall from the first round on for the NFL draft and what our beloved Chicago Bears do. But until then, enjoy the rest of this edition of the Bear Era podcast. Take care of yourself and each other. We will see you next time right here on Mike on the Mic. I'm your host, Mike Mercado. Now back to EJ and Kieran.